This video is sponsored by Campfire, all according to plan.
Let's see how the world's doing today. Nope, still terrible. Man, these 2020 videos are going to be weird in retrospect. Then I might as well work on that campaign for a tabletop role-playing game. Specifically, how a dungeon master can prepare and run a tabletop RPG like Dungeons & Dragons and the many other RPG systems available. Terrible Writing Advice has covered areas outside of good old-fashioned novel writing before. After all, writing has a lot of applications. So I thought I would branch out and cover a subject of personal interest to me and for those many other dungeon masters who often leave comments in my videos admiring my sage advice. So to all of you dungeon masters and game masters out there, roll initiative and let Terrible Writing Advice show you how to game master a tabletop RPG. When running a tabletop RPG, there is one big misconception that I must dispel first, that we are all here to have fun. Fun is the worst thing that can happen in a tabletop RPG. This isn't fun, this is my life, my masterwork tale. Any players having fun are simply ruining your masterpiece artwork and should be forced to feel the full wrath of the Dungeon Master, or DM for short. We are all here to play a hardcore game of make-believe. The only exception to this is when a player is ruining another player's fun. A good DM would just let that slide. What little fun to be had should be treated as a zero-sum game. Now that we have ground out all the fun out of the game from the get-go, we can focus on the important aspects and quality a DM can have. Those would be flexibility and adaptability. Specifically, flexing and adapting the wills of your players until their broken spirits conform to the DM's story, or else. Remember, the DM is always the star of the show, never the players. Player characters are best treated as background extras. Never should every player's character be given a chance to shine each session or be made to feel special in any way. All of those opportunities should be afforded to the DM's special non-player character, or DM NPC. Yeah, players just love overpowered DM NPCs who steal the show and solve all the story's problems themselves. Should a DM always add an overpowered self-insert NPC? Of course! The only thing about my DM NPC I feel conflicted about is if I should name him Marty Stew or Gary Stew, as well as how big his harem should be. You know, why even stop at making the player characters background extras in their own story? Make sure the DM NPC reduces the player characters to mere passive observers who do nothing but sit around and watch the DM roleplay with himself. The DM NPC needs others to witness their great feats of daring do, of course. But what villain will our heroic self-insert face? What dangers will the party confront on their journey? When it comes to dangerous creatures, there's only one so ruthless, so conniving, cruel, and dangerous that it will spend every waking moment dedicated to nothing short of ending your campaign in its tracks. I, of course, speak of the players themselves. Thankfully, TWA has assembled this list of common player archetypes for the DM to be wary of. The role player. This player will get lost role-playing their character, often to the point of hogging the spotlight, which any DM should tolerate no matter how long it goes on. However, a role player who balances their spotlight as well as draw other players out of their shells should be kicked out of the game ASAP. The role player. In contrast, the role player is more engaged by the game itself than the drama. Sometimes called a power gamer, their eyes will gloss over during the story parts, but will get easily absorbed by the mechanics and strategy of the game system. In no way should a DM worry when the role player turns their finely tuned min-maxed character upon their fellow players, as the main danger a DM should worry about is the role player beating the DM at their own game. The Joker. Some men just want to watch your campaign burn. This is one such player. Most are more focused on amusing themselves rather than others, and their amusement is usually a result of taking random chaotic actions no sane character would ever do. The best method for dealing with an out-of-control Joker is to call Batman. The Rules Lawyer. I was unable to finish this entry because I am still arguing with the Rules Lawyer about the definition of rules lawyering. The Edgelord. These players watched my antihero video and took all of its advice to heart. They have high chances of contracting murder hoboitis and are often 100% fatal to any teamwork in the party. The best method for dealing with an edgelord is waiting for them to grow up, because that will probably happen long before they finally figure out that edginess cannot substitute for characterization. Just be sure to avoid encouraging them to get over themselves and work with the rest of the team. Do not let them read any edgy manga or they will turn into the hentai guy. The hentai guy has one or more horrible sexual fetishes that they will try to put put into the game at the worst opportunity. The problem with this is that their attempts to do so conflict with my horrible fetishes I'm trying to put into the game. There can be only one. A DM will have to do battle with Hentai Guy for the fate of the magical realm. Otherwise, this boundary-blind person should just be tolerated and never called out for making everyone else uncomfortable. Meanwhile, the mystery as to why all the girls have left the group remains unsolved. The non-player. Why is this person here? I don't know, and neither does the non-player. Non-players are great, the same way filler arcs are in shows. They exist and take up space. Never try to draw them out of their comfort zone and get them to try something new, or to try to help them find a niche in the story. But if a DM does, make sure to do it the most alienating way possible. The Snowflake. The special Snowflake wants to play a homebrew self-insert half-dragon Kisune furry multi-class demigod in a human-only historical setting. No, the DM can't look at the Snowflake's character sheet because reasons. The DM should always relent to the Snowflake's demands no matter how game-breaking they are, and never should the DM put their foot down and say no. The Drama Queen. In some ways, the drama queen is the opposite of the role player. Whereas the role player gets lost in the drama of the fiction, the drama queen brings their real-life drama into the fiction. Even though everyone is here to have fun and escape reality for a little while, the drama queen is here to bring everyone crashing back down to reality, or at least the strange version of reality the drama queen lives in. Be sure to just let the drama queen continue to leak toxicity into the campaign until she has done more damage to the party than the final boss monster. That guy. Ah, that guy. We all know that guy. His heavy mouth breathing, resulting from the 3 steps he traversed, announces his presence to all, much like the trail of Cheeto dust in his wake. The fact that guy even manages to show up despite possessing the intelligence and problem-solving capacity of a single-cell bacterium is impressive in and of itself. Truly, that guy is the best of all players. He possesses all of the desire for power of the power gamer, but none of the mastery of the game system, all of the lust of the hentai guy, yet with somehow even less social grace to know when to conceal it. All of the impulsiveness of the Joker, with none of the creativity, the same lack of initiative of the non-player, but without the instinct to stay out of the other player's way. None can stand in the way of that guy, for his body odor is potent beyond the ability of mere mortals to endure. Truly, any DM is blessed to have their game graced by that guy, and they should never just be kicked out of the game without a second thought. Remember, if having problems with your fellow players, never just try to talk to them like reasonable adults. Better to let problems simmer until they boil over and make everyone quit the game in frustration. If a DM finds the situation has turned truly toxic, then just keep going rather than remove yourself from a toxic environment. Same goes for the players. A good way of looking at the fellow players is as opponents that must be defeated. Routinely murdering the player characters until the players quit the game in frustration is the way to go. Handling character death would usually depend on the mood of the campaign and tone of the story, but I'm killing off the players' characters because it gives me a petty rush of power and control. I will kill off all of the PCs and claim ultimate victory in this cooperative storytelling game. What does the DM win after defeating all the characters in the players' party? Well, usually they win the ultimate prize of having to find another group to play with. With the players taken care of, what about the plot? That's easy. All aboard the plot railroad, toot toot! That's right, the story is all on rails from here on out. Again, flexibility and adaptation are not needed when we can instead beat our players back on the straight and narrow path of total submission to the DM. Embracing player creative problem solving is highly discouraged as it might lead to unique and new encounters that are not listed in my notes. Creativity should always be punished, never fostered in the players. Just be sure to restrict roleplay opportunities enough that eventually the player characters all revert into treasure-obsessed murder hobos. When a DM restricts the only meaningful in-game interactions to violence, they should express surprise when the players try to solve every problem by murdering it and taking its stuff. In fact, the biggest mistake a DM can make is giving deeper context to any aspect of the game. Why are the PCs delving into long-forgotten dungeons? For the treasure! Why are there so many monsters in these dungeons? To guard the treasure. Who built these dungeons? Why the ancient peoples who made the treasure? Why did all these ancient peoples go extinct? Well, obviously because they hoarded all their treasure into over-designed dungeons full of high-maintenance monsters rather than reinvesting that back into their economy. Laying a variety of plot hooks to see which ones the players like most, working with players to establish character arcs, creating imaginative worlds that open up role-playing opportunities rather than let the setting hog the spotlight, running tactical combat scenarios that skirt along the precipice of death to keep the players at the edge of their seats. Being a DM has nothing to do with any of that. The real reason to be a DM is to forge a pact with the forces of darkness and gain real magic powers. Well, I've looked through the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and the Monster Manual and still haven't found the section on gaining real magic powers, but the fundies assure me it's there. But when I find it, my players will be sorry they killed Marty Stew.
Knight Commander McStabby Pants returns, and with this video sponsor, Campfire, no less.
I told you guys not to call me that.
Of course, McStabby Pants. Well, let's open up this sponsor and see what makes it tick.
Who's the new guy?
Oh, me? I'm the newest squire.
Wait, I don't remember a new squire.
What a bunch of hipster say. There is no ethical consumption under ads?
I like you. You get it. Come, squire, we must learn all we can about this new sponsor before one of the other expanded universe factions try to steal it.
Like those extremely handsome and smart gentlemen part of the ancient conspiracy?
What? Those guys are a joke. Bunch of Illuminati has-beens who sold out to the man.
They're not a joke. I hear they are experts at manipulation and subtle planning. We better watch out.
Enough. We must learn Campfire's secrets before it's too late.
Well, let's see what we got here. Campfire is a writing software program to help writers organize their notes so that everything in their story goes all according to plan. From timelines for visualizing a plot's flow, as well as character detail pages for backstories, relationships, and even entire character arcs. Dungeon Masters might also find the comprehensive world-building pack to be useful as well, with its ability to help them flesh out species, cultures, languages, philosophies, religions, items, and even entire magic systems. It's a one-time purchase of $49.99 with the world-building add-on pack for $24.99. It comes with a 10-day trial. TWA fans can go to bit.ly/campfirepro TWA2 or click in the link in the description below. And I see General Warmonger Wannabe has been keeping notes on the various factions in the TWA expanded universe. I wonder what he said about us.
Why did you click on the ancient conspiracy guide then?
What? I'm not a communist. Calling me egotistical. It's not my fault that I'm the only one in the TWA universe with any functioning gray matter. Oh, what is this IG thing?
No, don't click on that.
Oh, great, it's those things again.
Oh no, it's the visible hand of the free market come to snuff us out.